Welcome everyone, my name is Kassandra and I'm going to take you through this 30-minute intermediate yoga flow. This is really going to work your shoulders, your back, but we will not neglect the lower body. You can always expect a little bit of core strength as well as getting into hips and hamstrings. So just a well-rounded flow, no props required, and we're going to start in Balasana, child's pose. Balasana, big toes together, knees apart. Press your hips towards your heels, stretch your arms out in front of you, and melt into the pose. Beginning with this hip opener, try to relax your belly and even feel your arms get heavy on the mat. Not really engaging any muscles in this pose. Using it as our first checkpoint to scan through our body and notice what areas might need a little bit more attention today. Take 5 deep breaths where you are. And you can slide your way forward into Sphinx pose. Sliding on your belly, you'll need to bring your knees in a little bit so that your legs and your feet are hip-width distance apart. And think of reaching and opening up through your chest as you press your shoulders back, getting a nice expansion through the front of your heart. Think of pulling your chest forward as you lift here. And we'll bring our left forearm at a 45-degree angle, right fingertips beside you, and just push as you lift and look over your right shoulder, push down into your right hip so it's not lifting off the mat. And switching sides, right forearm down, left fingertips behind you, press and lift up, push down into your left hip bone, still reaching and extending forward. And let's release. Reach your arms back behind you, palms facing down to the floor. As you inhale, roll the shoulders back and lift your upper body off the floor. So you want to be able to stay lifted and keep breathing here. We're just going to hold in this pose for a few moments. Think of pushing your pubic bone into the floor, pushing into your toes, and then if it's appropriate, see if you can kind of swim that right arm forward. And then exhale, bring it back, and we'll switch sides. Inhale, left arm forward, bicep along the ear. Exhale, swing that arm back. One more on each side. Inhale, stay lifted, upper body only. Exhale, right arm back. Last one. And release. Place your hands beside the top of your rib cage, cobra. Keep your elbows bent. Open up through your chest, Bhujangasana. And exhale to release. Press back, tabletop pose on hands and knees. Just cat and cow from here. Drop your belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. Exhale, round and contract, chin to chest. Take a few more, go at your own pace. Last one, inhale and exhale. And come back to a neutral tabletop pose. So really firm up your belly so there's not really any curving through your spine. And all we're going to do is lock the elbows, spin the crease of your elbows so they're facing forward, and you're just going to melt your chest down. It's protraction and retraction of the shoulders. So you're melting down and then trying to push and lift up. So squeezing your shoulder blades together and then spreading the shoulder blades apart. You're really just moving a couple inches down and a couple inches up. I just want you to feel that movement in the shoulder girdle, getting the engagement along your back. Keep spinning the elbow creases forward. Take a few more. Perfect. Walk your hands out a couple inches past your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Adho Mukha Svanasana, our first downward facing dog. Any movements here that you'd like. We are just getting warmed up slowly. Let's reach our right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Get that knee to go up as high as it possibly can. And now push your right shoulder and right armpit down. So try not to twist through your chest. Really isolate your lower body. Straighten and square that right leg, set it down. We'll go to the other side. Left leg up, bend your left knee, open up your hip, and be mindful of not twisting through your chest. Press your left shoulder down. So keeping that part of the body squared and parallel. Lift that knee up a little higher. Straighten the leg, set the foot down. Claw into your fingertips and knuckles. Let's come forward into our plank pose. You can do this with knees on or off the mat. We're gonna do that same shoulder work where we drop the chest down an inch or two and then press to lift it back up. Try to keep your elbows nice and straight. Belly is strong and engaged. Not bending your elbows. The elbow creases are pointing forward. Take two more. Lowering down, lifting up, down, and up. Downward facing dog. Come all the way back. Let's reach our right leg up towards the sky, and we'll step it through Anjaneyasana into our low lunge. Right knee is on top of the ankle. Should feel good to come off the hands here. Roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. See if you can close your eyes, finding an internal point of focus and working on your balance from here. And you can maybe try to keep your eyes closed. We're gonna have the back toes curled under, and we're gonna lift up into our high lunge. Okay, opening the eyes. From this high lunge, go ahead and straighten your right leg. And as you exhale, you're gonna come back into that high lunge while reaching your arms back and tilting your chest forward. So we'll do that a few more times. Inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the right leg. Exhale, bend and tilt. Two more. Last one, exhale. Stay low to the ground. Let's come down onto our left hand, easy twist, right arm up to the sky. Stacking one shoulder over the other, press that left shoulder down. Vashisthasana, side plank, roll to the outer edge of your left foot and stack your right leg somewhere along the top, or maybe a little bit in front if that feels better for you. Push into your feet to lift your hips up even higher. Keep one hip directly over the other. Side forearm plank, drop down onto your right forearm. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Press and lift up. So keep that top hip pointing forward. It's a lot harder. Squeeze and lift. Into your forearm plank, so both forearms on the mat. You want your elbows a little bit more narrow than your shoulders. Reach your heart forward. Lock in through your shoulders into your dolphin pose. Lift your hips up, walk the feet in. Press your chest back towards your thighs. Keep the crown of your head lifted off of the floor. Two more deep breaths. You can do this. Keep pushing into your thumbs and index fingers so you're not rolling onto the outer wrists. And let's bring our knees down onto the mat just so you can come back onto your palms, downward facing dog. Press and lift back up. Reach your right leg up to the sky. Again, bend your right knee, open up your hip, and let's find our pigeon pose. Bring your right knee behind your wrist, any amount here. Left leg stretches back behind you. And before we start to fold, walk your hands back and see if you can use back strength and opening through your shoulders just to stay lifted with your chest. Still squaring off through your hips. You have the option of either folding directly forward or adding a twist by threading your left arm underneath you, shoulder and ear to the mat, and then maybe your right hand reaches for your lower back or reaches for your right foot. We'll take 5 slow, steady breaths here. This is your opportunity to catch your breath, to slow down your heart rate, to find your center again before we go do that powerful sequence on the second side. And be mindful of your internal dialogue, the things you tell yourself when things get tough. And let's release. Bring your right hand back out in front of you. Take your time to come out of this one. We all meet in down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, stepping it back. And you're welcome to just hang out here, or if you'd like, you can take our first Vinyasa, our first flow, inhaling through to a strong plank, Chaturanga. You can lift up either your cobra or your upward dog, and we all meet back, lifting the hips up and back. Let's extend our left leg up towards the sky, stepping it through Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Make sure your feet are hip width distance apart here, and you can start with your back toes curled under, since we will eventually be lifting up into a high lunge. And maybe challenge yourself by closing your eyes. You can imagine some kind of dot or point of focus behind your eyelids, as if you're looking past and through to something further out in front of you. And with as much control as you can, we're gonna lift and hover to come up into our high lunge. Ardha Chakrasana. Let's straighten the left leg. You can open up your eyes, and as you exhale, come back to that lunge, but this time tilt forward, arms back. Really pull your stomach in for this one. Inhale, straighten and lift. Exhale, tilt it and lean. 2 more, just like this. Hold as you tilt. We're transitioning to our easy twist. Right hand should be directly underneath your shoulder. Left arm stretches up towards the sky. And maybe you choose to stay here. We're transitioning otherwise into Vashisthasana, our side plank. On the right foot, right hand, try to keep that left hip pointing forward directly on top of the right one. You'll feel it a lot more in your obliques this way. Vashisthasana on our form this time, left forearm down, elbow is roughly underneath your shoulder. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Keep that top hip pushing forward, not rotating back. Push into your feet, lift your pelvis up as high as it'll go. Forearm plank, both forearms on the mat. Elbows roughly underneath your shoulders. Press into your thumbs and index fingers. Reach the crown of your head forward. Dolphin pose, go ahead and lift your hips up and walk your feet in. Your heels might be getting a little bit closer towards the floor. Very, very, very normal if they don't touch. I don't think my heels will ever touch the floor in dolphin pose. In all my years of practicing, that has just never happened for me. But for you, it might be very easy at home. Take 2 more full deep breaths here. Keep your head lifted away from the floor. Really push into your forearms. Reach your chest towards your thighs. And your knees can come down. Come back up onto your palms. Downward dog. We're gonna set up for our pigeon pose. Left leg rises. Bend your left knee, open up your hip. And bring your knee over towards your left wrist. Stretch that right leg back, and before we fold and maybe rotate, we're gonna walk the fingers back and try to use back strength, rolling your shoulders away from you to lift up through your heart. And it's up to you here if you want to fold directly down, traditional pigeon pose, or you can add a thread the needle variation, right arm underneath you, right ear to the floor, and left hand reaching back. Hey, buddy. Take a few more breaths here. It's been a while since Kitkat has joined. If you were in a thread the needle variation like what I'm doing here, you can slowly come out and we meet in our downward dog. Step it all back, lift your hips up nice and high. You might choose to stay as you are, or you can take a vinyasa, inhaling forward to plank, chaturanga. Lift up, roll your shoulders back, and we meet downward dog once more. All right, let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. We're gonna step to Virabhadrasana 2. Right foot in between your palms, back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Press and lift up. So as you inhale, similar to what we were doing in high lunge, you're going to straighten the front leg and reach your arms up. And this time exhale and press the energy down in that warrior 2. A few more times, inhale. And exhale. Twice more. Next time you settle in your warrior 2, let's move to our extended side angle, either placing your right forearm on your thigh, left arm up and over, or you can bring your right hand down to the mat. Uttita Parshvottanasana. Really feel that left shoulder roll back as if you're trying to spin your heart up towards the sky. Now let's see if from here we can find our triangle pose. Trikonasana, straighten that right leg. Start to look down towards the mat just to help a little bit with balance. We're going to come into a variation of Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Bend into that front knee and keep your fingertips on the floor as you kick off and float that left leg. And you can bring your fingertips a little bit out in front of you. Really feel that left hip rotate and wrap down. From this pose, we're gonna find Warrior 3. So start to lift your chest up a little higher, reach your arms back, and if you can, you're going to interlace your fingers behind you, shrug your shoulders back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and reach and lengthen out. Coming into our ragdoll fold, reach your knuckles up and over. Feel free to bend your knees generously here. Relax your head. Keep lifting your knuckles up and over. And release your hands down to the floor. We're coming to Navasana boat pose. Sink your hips all the way down and go ahead and lift your legs. Take any variation of this boat pose that you'd like. Hey, cat. Hey, buddy. Maybe distract yourself with a cat. Helps. Low boat. So only your lower back is touching the floor. Feet and eyes and head are about at the same height. Come back up, high boat, Navasana. And we're gonna cross at the ankles, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And maybe just hang out here, or we'll take our flow. All right, setting ourselves up for the other side, left leg up. Virabhadrasana 2. As you inhale, straighten your front leg, reach your arms up. Exhale, press and bend. 3 more, follow your own rhythm of breath. Try to make this motion as fluid as possible. Always pressing your left knee open as you bend. Last one. And exhale. Utthita Parshvakonasana, extended side angle pose. Either left forearm on the thigh, right arm up and over, or left fingertips to the floor. Using your arm to kind of push your thigh open while also rotating and pressing that right hip down and spinning your heart up towards the sky. Lots going on here. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Straighten that front leg, reach one arm away from the other. Look down to the mat. We're gonna find that variation of Warrior 3, starting with the hands on the floor. So squaring off the hips, walk your fingertips out, kick and reach that right leg up. Keep your right hip rotating down. This is really what helps you with your balance in this pose. And the more you can strengthen and engage your back leg, the easier it's going to be. Once you feel balance, start to lift up. You're gonna interlace the other thumb on top, the more unusual way. Clasping the hands, trying to lift the palms off of the tailbone, squeezing your shoulder blades together. At most, you're parallel to the floor. One more breath to reach. Into your fold, reach your knuckles up and over, let it go. Now you know what we're gonna do. We're going to boat, low boat, and back to boat. So Navasana, hips come down to the mat. You can absolutely just keep your arms in front of you and your knees bent. You don't have to straighten. More than anything, we're working on lifting our chest up and rolling the shoulders back. This is why we did a bunch of shoulder stuff in the beginning. It does help a lot, even though boat pose is usually intended for core strength. And that's probably what you're feeling the most, as well as in your thighs. Low boat. Keep breathing. High boat. Try to cross your other ankle on top. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And this is your final opportunity to take a vinyasa, otherwise leave it out and just stretch in down dog. And let's release. Let's find another balasana, wide-legged child's pose. Big toes together. Maybe you find that your knees can go further out this time. And fold on down. I'm really slowing things down now. Trying to relax fully. Notice the full body activation from this practice. And walk your hands in. We're going to lower all the way down onto our backs. Pull your knees in towards your belly. Maybe come into your happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. Maybe rocking a little side to side. You can also straighten your legs to get deeper into the hamstrings. Releasing from this pose, keep your right knee to your chest, extend your left leg out. We'll just take a twist from here. Right knee crosses over your body and reach your right arm out to the side. Coming all the way back to center. Let's switch sides. Left knee to your chest. Cross it over and twist. Left arm extends out. Coming back through to center, Shavasana, your final resting pose. Take up some space and relax fully. Deep breaths. Really feeling the effects of your practice on your physical state, as well as your emotional and mental state. Cleo. Take a few minutes here, really integrating the work that you've done. Okay, let's start to reawaken. Take some deeper breaths and start moving fingers and toes. You can reach your arms up overhead, getting a big stretch. And just roll to one side. Use your arms to lift up Come into a comfortable seated position. Excuse me. Sit up tall and join your hands together at the front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. We'll close with a chant of Om one time. Inhaling to chant, big breath in. Bowing forward, namaste. Thank you so much for doing this full body intermediate flow with me. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this practice and how it went for you. And also let me know if you'd like to see more of these classes here on my channel. If you'd like to stay a little longer on your mat, it would be great to follow this up with a short meditation. This one that you see on the screen here would be wonderful. Please subscribe and hopefully we will practice again with you very soon.